Hello, for today's video we are going to be making this lovely corset top that is 100% seamless and no binding, so it's going to be nice and quick to make. For this pattern you are going to need obviously your pattern pieces cut, front facing and lining, plus some plastic boning. We are going to start off with our front facing fabric. All our pieces are cut together, we've transferred our notches, then we're going to attach all these pieces at the side seams. We are going to be doing the exact same thing for our lining fabric. This is what everything should look like, and I want you to take note of a couple of things. As you can see, there's the original stitch at my seam allowance, plus I finished the edges. I did not cut the edges off, I just put them on my serger, and don't cut anything off because we're going to use that as casing. However, if you look at my lining fabric, I have cut the excess seam allowance. That is because I will not need to add any casing to my lining fabric, so that is very important. Now what I'm going to do is you are just going to push, you're going to choose a direction basically and push your seam allowance towards that direction and stitch it down, making sure that you are leaving enough space to put your boning in. You are going to do this for all of your seams. This is what it should look like at the end of it. Is, as you can see right there, I have some channeling. So basically, remember, all we did was push our seam allowance towards one side, press it down with the iron, then stitch our casing, and this is what we have by doing that. So this is what it looks like on the inside. Now what you're going to do is you're going to put your lining piece right sides together with your front facing fabric, and then you are going to pin it down, obviously very important, and then you're going to stitch that top seam. When the top seam is stitched, you are going to open it up just like that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to have to take it to your iron, and you're going to have to press those seams down. One thing to note is that as you are ironing, you are going to be pushing your seam allowance towards the lining fabric. So as you're pressing everything down, make sure that your seam allowance is going towards the lining fabric. When you are done pressing your seams, what you're going to do is that seam allowance, push it towards the lining, and then we are going to top stitch right on the lining, just like that, very close to the lining. This is to prevent the lining from protruding to the outside when you are wearing it. Now what you're going to do is take your top, and then you are going to mark on those casings that you made. You're going to mark your seam allowance. My seam allowance for this was 0.5 inches, half an inch. So I'm just going around my entire top and I'm marking that on each bit of casing. After we've marked the last casing, we're going to take our plastic boning, then we are going to also mark where we mark that seam allowance, and then we are just going to cut our boning, and we're going to do that for all our pieces. So because I know that these pieces are going to match up, I'm just putting them together. Then I'm just cutting the boning like that because I know that they're going to be the same size on both sides. So I just measured only half. You get it? So I just measured for only half of the boning. So all the seams on the one side, that's where I measured how much boning I need. Then I just take that piece, put it towards the rest of my plastic boning, and then just cut because I know that they're going to match. The next part is I'm going to take that plastic boning, and then I'm going to put it on my ironing board, and I'm going to put a paper on top of it. Then I'm going to press it down with the iron. I'm just trying to get some heat onto that plastic. Then I can maneuver it with my hand to make it straighter. Don't leave it under that paper for too long because it's going to start to melt and then it is going to attach to the paper. So you don't want that. So what you want to do is just put it under the iron at like intervals, like just 5 seconds, get some heat on it, maneuver it, and then put it under if you need to again, up until you are happy with the results. And do this for all your boning pieces. Now what I'm going to do is, you have 2 options. You can take a nail file like I have here, and then you can just file the ends of your plastic boning so that they enter the casing nice and smoothly and they don't tug on the fabric, they don't do anything funny, they just go in smoothly. Or you can cheat, of which we like to cheat. We're going to cheat by taking a torch and then just lighting a little bit of fire and letting that part just like smooth it out on its own. But don't keep the fire too long. Just, touch it and it's going to melt a little and then it's going to be nice and smooth. It is up to you how you do it. You can use the cheating way or you can use the professional way with the nail file. Now what we're going to do is we are going to put our casing. We're going to put our boning into our casing. Please make sure that the casing that you did is big enough to fit your boning. If it's not big enough to fit your boning, you're gonna have a lot of troubles putting it in. So make sure that everything is you measured how much casing you needed or how big you needed to make your casing. Now I've added all my boning to my pieces. So now I'm going to turn it inside out. After turning it inside out, I'm going to pin those sides, right? I'm going to pin the sides and then I am going to go over and stitch them. This is what it looks like with the sides are stitched. Nice, gorgeous, neat. I am using my serger. If you don't have a serger, use your zigzag stitch. We just want to stop the fabric from fraying. Now I'm just going to stitch that bottom seam and leave like 5 inches open where I indicated. I was talking too much, but you see here there's an opening there. Then because we used plastic boning, it's going to be very easy for us to just maneuver this entire top inside out using this. So this is the cheating way of not having to add binding, because I feel like sometimes when you are sewing these corset tops, you get so tired and you're like, oh, I don't want to do it, it's so strenuous, the work is too much because I have to add all of this binding, blah blah blah, and sometimes you don't want to. So this is the cheating way of doing it. You don't add binding. We're just gonna turn it inside out. If you're not lazy to put binding and you have the energy to put binding, then sure, go ahead and put your binding, but this is how the easiest way we're gonna do this specific top, right? So when you've turned inside out, make sure that all your pieces of boning are sitting nice and straight, and make sure that you get all the corners out. Make sure that everything is looking nice and neat, because we are literally almost done. This project is going to take probably 1 to 2 hours, depending on how fast you are, right? So what you want to do is make sure that you note those little seams, right? We're going to press those seams down, but this is what I was talking about making sure that all of your boning is laying how it's supposed to. You're going to have to tug a lot on it to make sure that it's turned inside out correctly and everything is nice and smooth, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take it to your iron and you're going to press those seams, especially the bottom seams. Here I'm just taking those corners out because I want my corners to be nice and crisp and well pronounced. So you're gonna have to do the same thing. Grab your seam ripper, the seam ripper, and do that. Get those corners. Get those corners. Very important. That's what's gonna make your garment look nice and profesh. So yeah. Now we are going to stitch that opening closed, right? So I behind the scenes I did press out my seams. So what I'm doing is I'm actually just closing that part. I'm closing that little opening that we made, and this is how I'm stitching it. So this is very basic hand stitch, nothing complicated. You're just stitching it like that. When I'm done with that part, I'm just going to mark. But first, I'm gonna make sure that those corners are truly out as best as I can. Now I'm going to mark where I want to put my eyelets. And this is what you're also going to do. Just mark where you want to put your eyelets. Don't worry too much about anything. Don't worry too much about being precise or whatever, unless you're making it for like a client. But yeah, you should just make sure that you try and match everything up as much as you can. I think I put 6 eyelets on each side. Yes, 6 on each side. And for the most part they were 1 inch apart, except for this one, the ones that at the bottom and the ones at the top. So this is me just using my eyelet tool. With the eyelet tool, the part that has the flat part is supposed to be on the flatter side of your eyelid. Anyway, please search on Google how to put eyelids in. I did a terrible job explaining, but anyway, this is what your eyelids should look like at the end. Then you're gonna, quickly make your straps. I made my straps behind the scenes. This is just your basic strap. There was nothing complicated, just a basic strap. Now I'm just burning my straps using my torch, and then I'm merging them together as it melts. I'm just quickly merging it together. I like to do this because it makes it easier for me to insert the straps into my eyelets, and I don't have any excess fraying that is getting caught up on the eyelets basically. So you're going to now put the strap in, and basically you're done. You're done. You're gonna wear the top, take a picture, upload the picture so we can see how good you're looking on the top, and that is the end.